Hey, it's Haley. In the last part of my story, I moved to LA with Phil, and after a tricky start, we were finally noticed. Now, we're signed to a record label and have a boss, Dean. My dreams were starting to come true. Well, apart from the fact that Dean was making me feel a little uncomfortable, so I made up an excuse not to go to this A-list party with him. I was on my way home when I heard Dean shouting after me. Oh no, what did he want to say to me? This couldn't be good. Could it? I pretended that I hadn't heard him and kept on going. He was so persistent though, and followed after me, continuing to call my name. I ended up turning around and saying, "Dean, what's the matter? If it's not so important now, can we talk later? I really need to get home." I looked down at my watch. He replied,
"Wait, Haley, why are you avoiding me?"
While I was faltering and didn't know how to answer, he continued,
"One minute you're jumping up and down in excitement about the party, but then when Phil said he wasn't going, your mood changed. Is it because you don't want to go with me?"
I sputtered in a small voice.
"Hey, Haley, are you thinking I have bad thoughts in my mind or something?"
He burst out laughing.
"Oh no, I'm a happily married man. Come, let's talk."
He waved me over to a nearby bench.
"You have nothing to worry about. I'm just looking out for you, as I feel like I didn't manage to do that for my sister, Ellen."
He gave a thoughtful sigh.
"She was a musical genius. Not only was her voice the most powerful one I've ever heard, but she could play multiple instruments. But she didn't tell me about her leukemia. Turns out, she was hiding it for years, as she didn't want us to worry. That was our Ellen, always putting others first."
I was stunned and didn't know what to say. I felt so foolish for misunderstanding Dean. There I was, thinking he was being over-familiar, when all he was actually doing was trying to look out for me, because he saw me as a sister. I muttered out, "I'm sorry," while I patted his shoulder to comfort him. Looking up at me, he said,
"It's okay. It was a long time ago, and I'm sorry that I made you feel uncomfortable. You have a beautiful voice, and you remind me so much of Ellen. She didn't get a chance to fulfill her dreams. But you can, and I want to help you, as I know that's what Ellen would want me to do."
He smiled gently.
"So, are you going to come to the party?"
he asked. Smiling, I said, "Yes, only Phil the Fool would want to miss this. This is so exciting." I felt so much better now that my misunderstanding with Dean had been resolved, although I did cringe when I thought about how I'd been toward him. Anyway, I had a party outfit to plan. You wouldn't want to be underdressed at events like this, right? The night after, I wore my favorite dress and arrived outside of the company to meet Dean, feeling both excited and nervous. This would be the first time I got to get in contact with real celebrities. I'm talking A-list singers, probably even Hollywood movie stars, people that you would only see on TV. When we arrived at the main entrance to the party, the gate opened automatically. Wow, the driveway alone was bigger than the street I lived on. Then I spotted the mansion and a whole lot of supercars.
"Pretty impressive, huh?"
Dean grinned at me. I smiled back. You could say that. I was about to attend a lavish party in Beverly Hills, in the biggest mansion I'd ever seen. That's a first, for sure. It was like a dream that you never wanted to end. Dean led me around and introduced me to loads of different people, but suddenly I caught sight of a familiar figure. I tried to look carefully. Wait, wasn't that Clara? Speaking of her, well, I've been trying to get her and Eric out of my mind for a long time, which wasn't easy when they were both super famous. I had to see news about them everywhere, whether it's about what they wore today, what's their schedule next week, or when their stupid duet hit the chart. Trust her to be here. Ugh. But wait, if Clara was here, then would Eric be here too? Oh no, I really didn't want to meet him at this time. I was lost in thought when I felt a tap on my shoulder. Startled, I turned around and saw that it was Dean. He handed me this fancy-looking cocktail and asked me if I was okay. That's when Clara appeared in front of us and started air-kissing Dean. He was about to introduce me to Clara when she stopped him. "Oh, is it you, Haley? Now that you're having a go at being a celebrity, you probably don't remember me anymore." She smirked.
"Huh? You two already know each other?"
Dean asked. "Yeah, we know each other very well, right?" Then she winked at me. "But uh-oh, seems like I picked the wrong moment to bother you. So you two..." Realizing what she was insinuating, Dean said,
"Come on now. You've also met Jane, my wife. Don't make fun of that."
She rolled her eyes and said ironically, "Oh, yeah, I forgot. It's just that you two look so loving. Eric never dares to be so intimate with me in public. I'm so jealous." Then she smirked and walked away. Dean told me not to take any notice of what Clara said, as she's known for being shrewd. Even though I was quite annoyed with Clara's rude words, what bothered me most at that time was not her, but Eric. Why did she intentionally mention his name in front of me? While Dean was talking to some big business types, I stepped out onto the balcony to get some fresh air. From there, I could see clearly the iconic Hollywood sign. Then I turned around to look at the bustling room, where all the well-dressed celebrities were laughing and talking. I took a deep breath and thought to myself, "Look at that, Haley. You did it. This was what you've been dreaming of. That's right. I've worked so hard to get here. It's a brand new chapter now, and the ghosts from the past wouldn't be able to hold me down anymore." That encounter with Clara had actually changed my mindset quite a lot, instead of ruining my night. From then onward, I felt like I was uncovering a new source of motivation. I buried myself in work. I worked for my family, my friends, for fans who were always supporting me, and for myself. And then finally came the day when my hard work paid off. That day, Phil and I were going through some demo tracks to pick out one to be our next single, when suddenly, my phone rang. It was Dean. He said that Phil and I had been invited to perform at Blue Moon Festival. Oh my God, this was incredible! It's the famous Blue Moon that I've watched and read about for all my life. I'd get to stand on the same stage my idols had performed on. What could be better than that? I was so excited, I jumped up and down and then hugged Phil. However, my mood dampened when I found out who else was performing there. Eric! It felt like my heart had stopped beating for a few seconds as I stared at the laptop screen, emotionlessly. Phil seemed to realize that there was something wrong. He immediately looked at the lineup and was quiet at first. Then he said,
"Haley, I get it. You know, we don't have to do this festival."
It's true that even though it had been a long time, I still felt a pang of sadness whenever I thought about Eric. However, I couldn't turn this opportunity down. That wouldn't be fair on Phil, or on myself. So I smiled at Phil and said, "It's okay. I wouldn't miss it for the world." D-Day arrived. I was super excited and also terrified that I felt like I was gonna puke, which would have been bad, as I was in a swanky van en route there. My nerves were partly because I was going to perform in front of the largest audience ever, but also because I would have to be in the same place as Eric. I shook my head to shatter that thought and reassured myself that with so many artists, the chance of me having to see him again was very low. After an amazing performance, I felt electric. I'd done it. I was so proud of myself and of Phil. We were the dream team. We were walking backstage when I felt someone pull on my arm. I turned around and saw that it was Eric. Without saying a word, I pushed him away and carried on, but he once again pulled on my arm. Phil turned back, and on seeing what was happening, he immediately intervened.
"Hey, let go of her!"
Eric said.
"I just want to talk to Haley in private."
Phil said sharply.
"Just say it out loud. The two of us are one now. Haley's story is mine too."
Annoyed, Eric replied,
"It's not your place to say that. You're nothing to her. Haley, please, listen to me."
The situation seemed to be growing more and more complicated, and the last thing any of us needed was to cause a scene here. So I told Phil to go to the green room first. Then I turned to Eric, and in a cold voice I said, "Okay, Eric, what do you want?"